Please rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning and welcome to RPtv. Today is Wednesday, December 11th, 2019. Whether you like it or not, the weather has been a little unsettling and it has caused some trouble this morning. Rihanna has that report.
Everyone's commute could be made more complicated by the snow that fell all across New Jersey earlier this morning. National Weather Services tells commuters to be aware of slippery roads and reduced visibility, but snow accumulation is expected to be less than an inch on the warmer roads. National Weather Services still has a winter weather advisory that will be up until 10 a.m. Some districts like Morris, Passaic, Sussex, and Warren called for delayed opening today, and there's a 45-mile-per-hour speed restriction on New Jersey Turnpike and most of the Garden State Parkway. Today's temperature will remain in the 30s, and it will get chillier into the night, dipping into the 20s. It will stay chilly, but sunny, with temperatures in the mid-30s tomorrow.
Even if the weather is bad, there is always a chance you could feel good, especially if you watch your favorite holiday movie. Let's go to Kelly for a recent survey on the top Christmas movies.
You know it's Christmas time in New Jersey when you hear Bruce Springsteen's rendition of Santa Claus is Coming to Town playing everywhere you go, or when George Washington impersonators come out of hiding to reenact his tide-turning Christmas Day attack during the Revolutionary War. But what holiday movie are most New Jerseyans watching this time of year? The answer is A Christmas Story, according to a survey by House Method, the popular home product research company. The beloved 1983 comedy follows 9-year-old Ralphie, who famously wants an air rifle for Christmas, and his wacky family gearing up for the holidays. House Method says it surveyed 4,500 Americans, asking what their favorite Christmas movie is. The movies were taken from Rotten Tomatoes' list of 50 best Christmas movies. Other films like Elf, Home Alone, and Die Hard were also considered as top favorites during this year's holiday season.
It's time for announcements. All right. The French Club Movie Day has been postponed to next Wednesday. The tickets will cost $3. There is a mandatory SAS meeting today in room 5 after school. Student council is welcome to attend. Reminder, SAS members and student council are obligated to bring baked goods for the senior holiday social on December 13th. Please bring all baked goods to Miss Almanzar in room 5 the morning of the event. Bring sweets even if you're not attending the festivities. See Miss Almanzar for details. Tabletop games will not be meeting today. Ecology Club will be having a holiday party this Thursday in room 110 at 2:45 p.m. We will be making seeded paper holiday cards, recycling K-cups, and enjoying some snacks. Come join us. All new members are welcome. Future Health Careers Club holiday party will be held on Tuesday, December 17th after school in the Teachers Cafe. Please sign up with Mrs. Haddad in the health office if you'll be attending. Hope that all members will join the festivities. Interact Club will be hosting a holiday party on December 20th. At this party, there will be food, games, and a white elephant. If anyone is interested in participating, please see Rebecca Rodriguez or Mr. Fucci. Art Club and National Art Society will be meeting Fridays after school in room 102 during the school year. We are working on projects and sometimes exploring the media. Join us. Celebrate Hour of Code. Stop by the library and learn all about this annual event celebrating computer science. Throughout the week, the AP Computer Science students will be available in the library 3rd and 4th periods to demonstrate coding and help you develop your coding skills. Girls are invited to join Girls Who Code on Friday on the 13th in the library at 7:30 a.m. to learn more about computer science. Interact Toys for Tots Drive will end on the 13th. Please bring all toys to the main office for the collection. If you are interested in supporting a teacher this contest, you may bring it to them as well. Thank you for the support. Congratulations to the bowling team for another win against Rahway last night. Varsity won with a point spread of 4-3. They were led by Captain Francia Mello, David Bermirsky, and Dan Grenton. JV also won a score of 7-0 last night, and their victory was led by David Gurton, Tyler Monaco, and Jason Jokaj. Their next match is today against Union. As for now, Varsity's record is 4-2 and JV's record is 5-1. Great job. On behalf of the French Club and Mrs. N, I would like to remind everyone that today is French Club's Denim Day. Please support the club. Also, as of today, there has been 56 toys collected for Interact's annual toy drive. Please remember that the toy drive ends on Friday, December 13th. I would like to encourage everyone one more time to get your students involved, and let's hit the 100 mark. Now, let's fast forward to the summer, because the summer of 2020 could be a lot different for many people, unless some changes are made. Rihanna has that story.
It looks like New Jersey residents will be having to wave goodbye to the state's Festival of Giant Ballooning. Howard Freeman, executive producer of the festival, announced that if this event cannot find new sponsors for the upcoming year of 2020, it will be canceled. Its most previous sponsor, Quick Check, in October announced that they will be removing themselves from the event position after 26 years of sponsoring. Freeman explains, there is a lot of expenses, 7 figures worth, that is necessary to make it what it has become, the largest summertime balloon and music festival in North America based here in New Jersey. Whether it be one beneficial sponsor who can take on all of it, or maybe 2 or 3, either way, the deadline to find a new sponsor is December 31st. This year's festival, which organizers said employed more than 2,500 people and pumped approximately $52.4 million into the state's economy, and produced a hefty crowd of 169,000 people to the Solberg Airport. It is obvious that this event is a big deal, and we hope that someone can take the job of allowing these balloons to continue to fly.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and stay tuned for CNN 10.
A pair of U.S. political stories headline today's edition of CNN 10, and they both concern the House of Representatives and President Donald Trump. I'm Carl Azus with a down-the-middle explanation of what's going on. First, Democratic leaders of the House have announced they'll bring 2 articles of impeachment, 2 formal charges against President Trump. Those charges are abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. They're related to a controversial phone call the American president had in July with the president of Ukraine. Democrats say President Trump abused his power by pressuring Ukraine to investigate the son of political rival Joe Biden, a former U.S. vice president who's running for the presidency in 2020. Democrats say President Trump obstructed Congress by not fully cooperating with the House impeachment investigation. There are questions about whether these 2 charges are impeachable offenses. Democrats generally say they are. Republicans generally say they aren't. The Constitution says a president can be removed from office if convicted of, quote, treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. Both President Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky have said nothing illegal took place on their phone call. And House Republicans say their chamber's investigation was unfair and biased against the U.S. president. But the stage is set for a vote next week on the House floor where a simple majority of lawmakers will determine whether there are sufficient grounds for impeachment. If the House, which is controlled by Democrats, votes that there are, a trial will be held in the Senate, which is controlled by Republicans. And analysts expect it will find the president not guilty and that he can remain in office. But all this is being watched very closely because neither of those votes has actually happened yet. Second political headline concerns the USMCA, the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement. It would replace NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement that took effect in 1994, but that President Trump has called the worst trade deal in American history. For most of his term, his administrations worked with Canada and Mexico on a new agreement, and the USMCA is the result. But it has to be approved by Congress first. And though House Democrats now say it's much better than NAFTA, they had some initial objections to the deal. Yesterday, Democratic leaders said they'll support it now that some revisions have been made. Observers say this will be a legislative success for President Trump if it passes in the House and Senate. 10-second trivia. More than 44% of the land in the United States is covered by what? Concrete, farmland, forests, or water? Agricultural land takes up about 44% of the land in America, followed by forests, which account for 33%. Some growers are promoting vertical and underground farms as relatively new ways to cultivate crops without taking up much space. This can happen in buildings, shipping containers, or tunnels, as you're about to see. There are some disadvantages to this. For one thing, they're expensive to get started. Even if you already have an abandoned building or tunnel to start with, you're going to need the technology. That can mean a lot of artificial light and energy use. For another, these farming methods might not work for all crops, and it could result in higher costs for what is grown. But when everything goes right...
Deep under the mountains of South Korea, with no natural sunlight, something is growing. It's a salad. This is the world's first commercial tunnel farm, constructed inside a disused highway tunnel, and Che Jae-bin is the person who created it.
일전에는 여기가 대한민국 최초의 고속도로로 쓰였던 터널이고
The tunnel's sharp curve caused several collisions, so they decided to carve out a new, more gently curved route right next door. The old tunnel, all 600 meters of it, is now being used to grow salads, leafy greens, even strawberries. And to encourage them to grow, classical music is being played throughout the tunnel. Che actually recommends Beethoven or Schubert.
인도화 팜의 가장 큰 장점은 그 일조량을 균일하게 할 수 있다는 게 가장 큰 장점입니다.
Using LED lights allows Che and his team to grow crops all year round. They're also what gives the farm its pink glow. They emit only the spectrum of light that plants use to photosynthesize.
일반적인 인도화 팜은 그 실내에서 모든 전기 에너지를 투입해서 이제 그 온습도 조건을 맞추는데 언더그라운드는 자체적으로 열교환을 일으키고 그 실외나 실내보다 일정한 온도를 유지하기 때문에
And that's what makes this farm uniquely successful. In fact, Che has plans to build many more farms using the same technology, but in suitable urban locations.
앞으로는 도시에서 멀리 떨어진 농장에서 생산을 해서 물류 이동을 하는 그런 체계가 이제 없어지리라고 봅니다. 집안에서도 가까운 스토어에서도 또는 지하철역에서도 그런 얼번팜 형태가 그 곳곳에 생기게 될 것으로 보입니다.
SLS and Artemis are two terms you'll need to know going into our next story. SLS is short for Space Launch System, a massive rocket that NASA hopes will return people to the moon. It's now assembled and ready for testing, but it's seen a lot of delays and cost increases along the way. Artemis is NASA's next moon program, and a space industry analyst says it's already had trouble getting the funding it needs to get off the ground.
It's taken 7 years to get here, over $14 billion. So Jim, tell us, why does NASA need SLS?
So the SLS rocket is the only rocket right now in the world that's going to be qualified to take humans all the way to the moon. Of course, we have other rockets that are qualified to fly humans, but there is nothing that takes humans all the way to the moon. And so when we do the Artemis program, which is a return to the moon sustainably, with commercial partners and international partners, where we're going to use the resources of the moon to learn how to live and work for long periods of time, and then we're going to take all of that knowledge onto Mars. This is the key capability that's going to enable all of that to happen.
All right, one thing that would be great to have some clarity on is the per launch cost of SLS.
So when we think about the cost of an SLS rocket per launch, it really, quite frankly, depends on how many we buy in a certain package. So if you buy one SLS rocket, it's going to be very expensive. I would say on the order of $1.6 billion. If we buy multiple SLS rockets, maybe as many as 10 or 12, it can get down under $1 billion, $800 million per copy. But look, these are all estimates at this point. NASA needs to sit down with its prime contractor, Boeing, to negotiate the best solution to getting the right mix of the number of rockets and the cost per rocket. But at this point, we're under contract to build 2. And of course, we want to go to the moon in 2024. We're going to need at least a third and maybe even more rockets after that.
Now, earlier this year, you told me that Artemis would cost in the range of $20 to $30 billion. Are you still on track for that?
I think that could prove to be a very accurate number. I will tell you, we are working through a budget request right now for 2021, and in that budget request, we will have the out years, which will show the entire cost of the Artemis program to land the first woman and the next man on the south pole of the moon by 2024. So yes, I think that's probably in the ballpark, but I'm not going to nail down any numbers until we negotiate the final solution on all of these different budget parameters.
And can you give us any further details about the lucky individuals who will be flying on this thing? We know that one of them will be a woman. Can you give us any more details on who that female might be?
Well, I'll tell you this. We do have a very diverse, highly qualified astronaut corps, and we've got a number of women that are perfectly capable of doing the job, and they are all very excited about the opportunity to be the first woman on the moon. For 10 out of 10, here's an event where getting the axe is how you get the party started.
This is the World Axe Throwing Championships. It was held recently in Arizona, attracting axe throwers from, yes, around the world. And before you laugh, the prize was $15,000 and the event was broadcast on ESPN. This is not something you should practice in your living room or probably anywhere outside a designated axe range. But if you're a lumberjacks who knows jacks and hacks about the exacting and some would say relaxing sport of axing, you wouldn't be slacksing or finding anything taxing about a sort of board game that tests your mettle while you get a handle on busting the competition's chops. I'm Carl Azus, reporting just the facts on CNN 10.